everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unusual Suspects. This is episode 69.
Hey,
nice. And guys, this is our newest Unusual. Dante, how do you feel about what's happening in the world? Kamala's VP pick. How do you feel? Good? Guys, this is Dante. He's a crazy all right, now you can come grab him. By the way, Nat's on the ones and twos today. Nat, say hi to everybody. Wait, bye, Dante. I love you. He has a freaking polo vest on.
You're like Jungle Jack Hanna with your pets.
Yeah. Well, we have to bleep out I said the B word. And I'm trying to be a good person and not cuss. But anyway, guys, we have got a fantastic show lined up for you guys today. A lot is happening around the world. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. The UK is literally on fire. And they're on the brink of a civil war. Here in the United States, Jamie Raskin, he said some pretty crazy forecasting stuff of what's to come if Donald Trump wins. We'll get into that. Connor there was a darling of the right wing who recently fell from grace. And we're definitely going to talk about him. You guys know exactly what we're talking about. Brandon's going to be talking about X is suing a advertising company, which is nuts. And Josh Shapiro, the almost VP pick for Kamala, and one of the reasons we're thinking he didn't get it is there was a murder story that came out of a girl that was stabbed 20, 30 times in the back of the head, and they called it a suicide, which is, dude, I'm telling you guys right now, if I ever kill myself, I'm not going to jump off a building, I'm not going to shoot myself or stab myself or my wrist. I'm going to stab myself in the back of the head 20 times because that's...
And then
that makes sense, guys. It's like the Clintons, like that guy. What was his name? Do you remember the guy that
Vince Foster?
Vince Foster? No, was it Vince Foster? Or another guy?
He's the famous one. Seth Rich.
Seth Rich. Well, one of these guys hanged himself. By the way, not hung. That's a proper terminology. He's hanged. Hanged himself in front of his house on a tree with the extension cord, shotgun blast to the chest, because that's what you hang yourself, then you shoot yourself with a shotgun, and then you throw the shotgun, Rob, and it doesn't get discovered for like a week, 2 weeks later, and then they go, oh yeah, he killed himself.
Mark Middleton was his
Middleton.
But the fact is, we got it confused with all of the other people who mysteriously died that are associated with the Clintons.
Could you imagine that? Like getting no, it's that guy. No, wait, it's the fourth guy. Oh no. It's Mark Middleton, who definitely did not commit suicide. But, yeah, guys, we have Nat's on the ones and twos. Dante's going to be back there. He might be DJing. Dude, we have a great show. Guys, I don't even want to waste any time. I just want to get right into it. Me and Humberto, dude, we've been going back, me and you, brother, you've been calling it. I'll give you credit. For a while, you were like, Vinnie, the UK is done. And I didn't see any of the signs until recently. Remember the stabbing of the three girls. And then now you have this story. This morning, I sent you a link of literally fires everywhere, and the moment I sent it, what happened?
Well, London is on fire.
But they deleted the X post.
Yeah, you sent me the post. I clicked on it like 2 minutes later, and
it was gone. So, Humberto, let us know what the hell's going on. Talk to us.
All right. You probably, guys, big fans of the show. You saw the segment already on the stabbing that it hasn't been mentioned at all. So I want to do a quick time.
Do it. Go.
Get everyone up to speed. We had the incident that happened on July 29th. 3 little girls that there hasn't been a single mention why everyone is mad. One of them was 6, 7, and 9. They were in a Taylor Swift dance party, and some psychopath walks in and stabs and kills all 3 of them. First of all, like on this point, the media was working double time to run cover. Like, did something so disgusting. They run pictures of him younger.
Yep.
Like the whole week, they ran pictures of when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't relate like a grown military-age man stabbing 3 little girls with the incident. They didn't reveal where he was from. Everyone was like, oh, he's an immigrant. But they were like, oh, no, actually, he's second-generation British. But when the stabbing happened, allegedly, protests, they started the day after this because people were like, okay, this is too much. You know, this is too much. We're trying to raise our kids here. We're trying to have normal society run. We want to run businesses. We want to run school, churches. So they went out on the streets and they started an anti-Muslim, that's what the media called it, anti-Muslim protest. And they began in Southport, England.
That's where it happened. That's where the stabbing happened.
That's where the stabbing happened, and they've been spreading across the England and the UK in general.
Yep.
From the 31st to the 3rd, we had more protests going all over. Great Britain, sparking up. We're gonna show some videos here.
Okay.
Like I don't want to go into specifics, but if we can
Just show some of the madness that's happening.
I just want to show some
UK.
of the madness so you guys get acquainted. Like if you're living under a rock and you haven't seen any of this on Twitter or
Okay.
So this video is very telling. This is the intention that they have behind this because
Gotcha.
they tried to hide this, and I want to get into the point like after
Okay.
presenting.
And what flag is that, Humberto? Before is that Palestine?
It's
or,
not-
or is it? Because this guy was from like Rwanda.
Yeah, he was from Rwanda,
Like the family's from Rwanda.
and
Okay.
this is a Palestinian flag. I don't know what.
Yeah,
what
weird. Palestine. It just has to. The
Well,
guy's not. The guy's.
that's the thing. The guy's from Rwanda, but the protests are against Muslims who have largely taken over the UK.
Yeah.
And the pushback has been by Muslims against native-born Britons.
Gotcha.
So the Rwanda basically has nothing to do with
Has
this.
nothing, but yeah, but okay, all right. Let's show how many of these we're gonna go back to back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back
Go
to
ahead,
back.
Go ahead, Nat. Let's play it.
The important thing about this clip, well, you guys are gonna be.
Yeah,
able
we'll
to
see
tell.
it. Go for it.
Look in the bus they're joining in as well, get man. In the bus they're joining in, lad. Man's on the bus. We taking over UK now.
Telling you exactly what.
All right, let's go to
Yeah,
the
by
next.
the way, they'll telling you the plan. Go ahead.
I don't know if it was yeah. This is them asking for Sharia law in the UK. You know, in practice, from what I heard from my friends that live there, there's a few places that Sharia is actually the law of land. There's a few neighborhoods.
They
there.
wanted. They accepted it.
They accepted it, and there's a few neighborhoods there that are running
And
Sharia
look
law.
at the useless British cops just standing there.
Oh, we're gonna get into
Watch
it.
This one.
watching
What's
their
the,
whole-
and this is a couple days ago or this is yesterday?
This was yesterday.
Can we get volume or there's no volume? Oh, there you go.
It's weird that everybody's wearing the same type
Oh,
of
they're
jacket.
kicking the white. That's a white guy on the floor. Okay, that's okay. Guys, okay, a lot of brown people. Look
But
at my
do they all
cousin.
stop off at the local Patagonia for
Yeah,
the
because
vests?
they're all
before-
dressed the same, right? They're all wearing
Yeah.
those big puffy jackets. And I mean, we're in America. It's August. It was like 95 degrees outside. What is the temperature like in England right now
hot.
that everybody's dressed in these weird
No, it's
ski
hot.
parkers
It's hot.
together?
By the way, it's hot.
where
And
they
you
come
know why
from,
you
though.
wear puffy jackets? So you can conceal weapons because a lot of these guys had knives and swords on them.
I believe it's London and Birmingham, which are like two of the biggest cities in the UK, are majority non-white, non-native British. Wow.
And
Where
So they're
like
finished.
the native Britons are being pushed out and outbred and outcompeted by
we're gonna
basically
get-
an invasion. of their
we're gonna
homeland.
get fully into that. This is one of the people in charge, and this video is disgusting. On one side, it's him talking about the BLM riots, and on the other side, he's talking about the UK riots, and they put them side to side. This one, pay attention because he's speaking on both at the same time.
Okay.
So you have to do a switching your brain.
Switch in your brain. Okay. Oh, this is the Prime Minister. Okay.
Be in no doubt
I was shocked.
those
and
that have
angered
participated in
at
this
the killing of
violence
George Floyd
will face the full
and the
force
response
of the law.
President Trump
The
and
police
the US
will be
authorities
making arrests.
to the peaceful
Individuals
protests,
will be
to
held
people
on
rightly
remand.
demanding justice.
Charges will follow,
been an affront to
and
humanity.
convictions
The
will
last
follow.
week has shone a
I
spotlight
guarantee
on the racism,
you will regret taking part in this
discrimination
disorder,
and injustice
whether directly
experienced
or
by
those
those
whipping
from
up
black
this
and
action
minority ethnic
online
So-
and then
in the
running
US,
away themselves.
in the UK,
This is
and
not
across the
protest.
world.
So on the left side, so
organised,
basically on the left side, he's like,
violent,
when minorities are writing, it's all good. It's okay, it's fine. But when white people are getting upset, he's like, we're gonna watch you, we're gonna find you, we're
We're
gonna
gonna
monitor.
find you if you are part of it actively or indirectly. And well, I'm gonna show you another
Yeah.
video, but they've been arresting people for memes.
What's
And
the name? What's the name of the UK Prime Minister?
Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer.
Starmer. That's Keir Starmer.
Okay.
He's from the Labour Party. That is basically the Democrats there.
Okay. Oh,
They're a little bit more
what'd you
wacky.
expect?
And you can see the alpha male that he is on this.
Let me see how tough. I want to see how tough. he
tough
is.
guy. Tough guy.
Can you show this?
Ooh, guy in a mask.
Show this
Bad
tough
start.
guy. Okay, let me see.
Oh,
Oh my
my
god.
God.
Oh dude, if the oh man, oh if the apocalypse comes, these are the first guys that die, bro. These are the first ones to get like the zombies go after these guys. You know the movies when you see the zombies like they're doing all that thing. The guys that die first are those weak beta males, and that's the epitome.
The Brits are never beating the allegations of being limp-wristed aristocrats.
Oh no.
So you have
Not beating anything.
You have that type of guy in charge.
Okay.
And then you have the media running cover. Like, this is disgusting. Like, they've been literally taking people. Whenever someone notices that there's a connection, they will take them off the air immediately.
Oh damn.
And even if this a reporter,
Okay.
Even her life was in danger right here.
Yeah.
And they take care of the air. Like just watch
Okay,
the
let's
video.
see this. So she's reporting on the riots.
Yeah.
Community leaders have been speaking to the police as well because.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Fuck Idi Amin!
But I think apologies
Uh-oh,
for the
they're
language
coming on
you're
her.
hearing,
Jesus
but
Christ.
Look.
sense of the anger, I think you can hear there.
Yeah, Katie, I think Becky, I apologise. We
trigger with no
need
guns.
to,
You're from the UK, bro. You don't have a
there,
gun.
And Becky, we'll have security there.
We'll have security.
We'll have security
We
there.
will
She could be
do
dead,
that and I
Nigel.
apologise once again.
Yeah.
She could be dead.
For
So how-
Holy
crap!
crap.
How
You can stop
crazy
that.
is that one of your coworkers is in actual danger, and to not show people in a bad light.
Yeah. Oh.
They pulled her out of the air
No,
immediately.
yeah. By the way, I would have said keep it rolling. I want if something, God forbid, happens. No, I want the people to see it. Well, dude,
Yeah.
that they're complacent. The hell with them.
We know what's going on, guys. Like, I mean, I'll let you get through, but we know what's going on.
Like Brandon, in a nutshell, for people that don't know, because I always ask this question.
Yeah.
What, like, in concise as you can, what is going on? Why the influx? Why that? And then why what we're seeing?
All right, so we know the most powerful people in the world. What two things they want more than anything? They want one currency, one government, right?
Yep.
So countries that don't want any part in that, how would you go about weakening that country and getting making that goal happen? Mass immigration, piss off the people who live there, erode that culture. When they react, you arrest them.
That's it.
Yeah.
Especially and mind you, because the majorities are Christians in the UK. When you influx it with a bunch of people that aren't your religion, that are pretty much like dead set, because dude, the Islam, they don't play games, but Sharia law and shit.
Yeah.
And you bring that into a Christian. What else do they expect? They want it.
The only question asked is whether or not the guy's being bribed or blackmailed. The PM for Britain, and same thing with the other.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah.
After seeing him punch the bag like that, I'm pretty sure they'd have something on.
And I want to get to this last
Go.
point because we had the violence, the people in charge, and we had the media running cover, and the last thing is the armed forces of this whole thing going on. That is the police. This is an actual video of a policewoman arresting someone for making an inappropriate post on Facebook.
Oh my
You can
God!
watch it.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so,
What do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
okay, well, I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. I'm just
What?
127 communications.
Well, we
Act,
can cut it
okay?
here.
Wait, yeah, you can cut it.
Well, we can cut it here.
Electronic communications.
Vinny, and when you see the riots, you wonder, like, you see all this native-born British people getting beat up. Where's the police at? How come
They're not there?
They're arresting people. That's where they're busy.
Wow.
So there was an autistic 13, 14-year-old girl who was dragged out of her house in handcuffs because she happened to remark to her mom that a lady cop she saw on the street earlier looked like she might have been a lesbian.
Oh.
So this girl who is very much autistic and very much freaked out by the idea of having people touch her is now in handcuffs being thrown in the back of a car because she said a lady looked like a lesbian, and that was offensive. Meanwhile, there's Muslim dudes throwing acid on little girls and attacking people with knives on a daily basis.
Stabbing them all the time.
Humberto was talking about this most recent stabbing. I think there have been 2 other stabbings since then.
Yeah, there's been 2 others.
And it's a daily occurrence.
And this is the point I want to drive here. I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been involved in soft coups, and I know how it works. I mean,
he's doing the research.
I've done the research, and people have been talking about soft coups that they start with education, and then they let people protest, like what happened with the BLM riots. They let them do it, and then they take over the government. What's happening right here is soft terrorism. It's soft terrorism because the thing that has happened in England is all these small isolated events, like one stabbing of one people here, one stabbing there, 2 stabbings here, 1 stabbing here. They won't have a 9/11, they won't have a big terrorist attack, but they have everyone in terror. Like every time someone has to walk their daughter to school, they're scared.
Of course.
They're scared, and the police is taking the terrorist side.
Yep.
They're censoring everyone. If you guys see what they did to Tommy Robbins, that he has an organization called he used to have an organization called the EDL that is no longer valid, and they're still blaming the organization for all this violence. So what I'm saying, we all need to be glad that we live in this country where freedom of speech is a thing, where
so far
where the right to bear arms is a thing, because there's nothing these people can do about it. Like
There's-
England is done. It's over.
I think so,
Like
too.
Europe
Europe
in general. The damage they've done and how many people they gotten in Europe. Like unless they really act up and they really stop these people on their tracks, it's over. Like I can't see any.
And
good
it's just a
outcome
shame
of
that the
this.
police won't do anything though, because I get having blackmail on a politician, I get having blackmail on the leader of a news organization, but like you're telling me every single cop out there is okay with this, like every single lieutenant and police chief is okay with this?
I asked the same question when you talk about the FBI with us. I'm like,
Yeah.
where are all the good people? Because one of them came and he's probably watching. Comes here, he's really cool. He's like, Vinny, you know what I mean? Like I'm in the FBI. They're not all bad. I go, they're not all bad. But where are y'all stepping up when you're watching the injustice? When you're watching illegal shit happen? Why aren't you saying something? There should be a lot more than you. Just take the Russian collusion. Where were you guys all? Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andy McCabe. They're all doing that shit. Jim Comey. None of y'all saying shit?
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're complicit. What, because you need the paycheck? Come on, man. That's horseshit, and it's happening, and it's going to keep happening. And piggybacking, going to my story next, this whole Civil War talk, okay? They're pushing these people to get on the brink of Civil War. We keep hearing it here as well, okay? And all the Democrats that keep saying, Brandon, you guys crazy. They don't want you guys to get to Civil War. Okay, I saw a video the other day. I saw it at my house, and then I saw it with Humberto. Guys, it got me so angry, I took my phone and threw it across my apartment and cracked my screen protector because it's glass. I had to redo it. Driving me crazy. The video that we're about to show, Nat's going to show it, is Congressman Jamie Raskin, okay? He's talking somewhere, I don't know where, a bunch of elite losers, and he says that if President Trump wins the 2024 election, he and the Democrats plan to use the 14th Amendment on January 6, 2025 to prevent Trump from taking office. He blames the Supreme Court and warns that a civil war will ensue. Nat, can you please play this video?
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new sentence so we can bring that.
What's happening? You guys, by the way, you see what's happening, right? This, like, how are you going to invoke the 14th Amendment? Like, U.S. military? Sounds like you're going to do some Venezuela shit.
Well, he's talking about what Congress, what the Supreme Court already voted on way back earlier this year. Remember that Colorado ballot thing that they were trying to take Trump off the ballot?
Yeah.
Supreme Court said no, but every time the Supreme Court says something the Democrats don't like, they try to take it upon themselves to say like, oh no, we don't like that interpretation of the law, so we're going to change it. So who's the one who's an unlawful domestic terrorist?
It's them.
Yeah.
This is some Venezuela shit. Like, if we don't get the result that we want, we do it again. And we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. I agree.
But what did Biden just pitch a couple days ago? His idea for a sweeping Supreme Court reform.
Yeah.
Of, there's going to be more justices. It's going to be term limits where the president has to appoint them every, 18 years or something?
Yeah, they're changing the rules. And guys,
if the Supreme Court was currently doing what the Democrats wanted them to do, there would be no proposal because they'd be fine with it. It's just because they think the Trump-appointed justices are doing secret Trump things. But, of course, they didn't rule in favor of him in 2020, which, sort of undermines their whole case. But that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Listen, they change the rules as they go, and when the rules don't fit their agenda, they want to change the rules. Dude, can you think about the balls of him, Rob, to say the Supreme Court's not like they're like the Supreme Court justices are sitting on their asses all day. What a scumbag
coming from a congressman.
From a congressman that doesn't do shit. By the way, Now, can you put it up? Yeah, this is the 14th Amendment, guys. No person shall be a senator, representative in Congress, or elected president, vice president, hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken oath, member of Congress, as an officer of the United States, as a member of the state legislature, or as an executive judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in an insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid to comfort to the enemies therefore. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Let me explain something to you guys. And nobody has been charged with the insurrection. Not Donald Trump. None of the people that were arrested on January 6th. It's all horseshit. And this guy is basically insinuating that this is going to happen. I want to give everybody a little heads up on who, and then I'll go to you, Connor, who Jamie Raskin is for some of you guys that don't know, because I know some of you guys saw that and was like, who the hell is that jerk? He is one of the nastiest guys. I'm one of those losers that watches all the all the judicial hearings from Russia collusion, Hillary Clinton, all of them. He is one of the nastiest swamp creatures. That guy is the enemy of the people. Saying stuff like that, like we're gonna need bodyguards, meaning the powerful, because the hordes of the stampede of Trump people are gonna be upset. By the way, let me tell you who he is. He not only pushed the Russian collusion hoax in 2016, he was the leading supporter, one of them, of Trump's first impeachment. He served as the lead impeachment manager during Trump's second impeachment on January 6th's guided tour. And his wife, let's just add to the family the beauty of the Raskins. Her name is Sarah Bloom Raskin. She was involved in the unmasking of General Michael Flynn during the whole spying and everything with Donald Trump. So I've been saying this for years. Guys, they're going to stop at nothing to get Donald Trump out. And look what they've done so far. I have to write it. Besides spying on his campaign, Russia collusion hoax, which people still believe that it's true, fake impeachments, COVID, which I believe, Vincent Oshana, that was all planned and all set up. One of the main reasons, are they still accountable yet, Humberto, China? Is anybody accountable for COVID?
Nobody.
Okay, moving on. They bankrupt him. They tried to remove, they didn't. They tried remove him from the ballots, jailing him, and they tried to murder him, okay? Which I think it's crazy. We talked about this yesterday. They tried killing the front runner for the Democratic Party, the number one popular ex-president, Donald Trump. They tried to murder him, okay? And who's talking about it? Isn't it over?
Move along. Yeah.
It's over.
It's old news.
Get over it.
Yo, literally. But then you have people like him, like Raskin and his deep swamp. They want this war. And I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing the phrase civil war. All right, guys, for everybody out there, please stop saying they're going to push us to a civil war. No, to hell with that shit, okay? Why are we, if the government is doing all this shit and getting away with, trying to bankrupt the country, flooding us with illegals, which is happening in the UK, lie to us, do all this shit that's happened to us, bring the illegals that are killing our citizens. Why, when shit hits the fan, are you guys going to want to turn on your fellow American, okay? Let's just say you live in an apartment complex, Humberto, okay? There's 500 people in this apartment complex. The landlord is screwing you over. There's no security. They're stealing money. They're doing everything. They're letting cars get robbed. Why would you go and kill Connor, who lives in another apartment? Why? No. I'm going after the landlord, okay? And that's why, say what you want about January 6th, I'm proud of those people that went there to peacefully protest because they knew, they felt the government cheated, which they did, okay? They cheated. They went there. Yeah, they did the tear gas and all that shit. But that's what I'm talking about. You go to the source, all right? You don't kill your fellow American because that's what they want. That's what you've been saying because they want disorder. Because once the disorder happens, Humberto, what happens? Martial law.
More power, more
censorship.
Try to take the guns.
Yeah, and they want to take your guns. Stop saying that shit and stop letting them put that in our head, bro. I'm done saying it. No civil war talk. That Raskin rat, don't let these people go, everything's so messed up and kill your fellow American. To hell with that. You go to them. That's the problem, and don't let them fool you. And I'm just tired of it, bro.
Well, 100%. Every citizen, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, black, white, we have so much more in common with each other than we do with the politicians.
100%.
Most extreme Democrat out there, most extreme Republican. They have more in common than either of them do with the actual politicians.
We were talking about this with Brandon. In general, not just American politics, world politics. These people never optimize for the least people dead. They never optimize. Whenever we think how can we get rid of the most suffering and kill the least people to get things done? That's normal human thinking. Less people dead, the better.
Yes.
And they optimize for their own gains, their own money, more spending on the military, more spending here, more spending there, more power, more censorship.
Yeah.
Well, they want 2 billion people gone. I mean, they openly say that.
They say that, yeah, 2 billion people. That's not easy. But I mean, dude, Brandon, you nailed it. Destroying the fabric of society, making everybody crazy. And then, dude, I'm telling you guys right now, they tried to kill Trump. Did conservatives, did Republicans do anything? Did we riot? Did we burn down our city? Did we kill our fellow Americans? No. But I'm telling you guys right now, that if they try the shenanigans on this election, the real patriots, the real Americans, we're done with that shit. And it's not going to be us killing each other. Okay? No. It's if they cheat again, if overnight Kamala's shit goes like this, that weird ass, oh dude, her and that. We're gonna get into that. I know one of you guys are gonna talk about.
Can't be tolerated.
We cannot sit on our hands and just talk shit. Do not go after each other. It's not us against. It's us against them. Period. Okay. Do not be fooled. Do not be duped. Okay. I'm not gonna turn on my fellow American that's getting screwed over. And these Democrats out here that are just delusional as shit. You should see the messages that I get. You don't know where you're a cultist. I'm like, what in your life is going right in this past 4 years? You stupid moron. Like, wake up, because this psyop is real, bro. They did such a good job. The media, the Democrats, like Trump, to call Trump Hitler. Like, do you understand what has to be embedded in your brain? Like yesterday on X, I was seeing these people promoting the Kamala rally. Oh my God, what a beautiful moment. This is fire. This is what we want. Trump is shaking in his boots. No, he's not, bro. Trump is not shaking and shit. And on Monday, he's going to sit on the podcast. He just did Aiden Ross.
That was great.
500,000 live.
I
and
know.
then come Monday, he's going to be on with Elon Musk. By the way, we should do a side bet. Hey, chat. I want to know if you guys in the chat think that on Monday there's going to be like a internet outage, and they're not going to let it happen. But I mean, he has Starlink, but he'd have to boot that up.
They're going to hit 1 million.
Oh,
2 million, 3 million.
Yeah, guys,
put
in the chat, how many live do you guys think will be on Monday, Elon and Trump on X? Live.
Forget about
live.
it.
I want to know what you guys think about. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I know the angry patriot. I get it, but enough is enough with this rhetoric of they're going to cheat, but for a congressman to say, hey, even if he wins, we're going to do some tomfoolery shit and get him disqualified. Okay, Jamie Raskin, you're asking for it. Okay, you're asking for it, and you're gonna piss off a bunch of people. Anyway, moving on.
Luckily, just real quick. Luckily, it said in the Constitution there that it would take 2/3 votes from Senate and the House, so they're not gonna get that.
They're not gonna get it. But guess what? But his rhetoric, that attitude,
the fact of saying that,
to hell with him.
That actually gets people killed. That
That's
rhetoric,
what I'm saying.
that's violent.
That's exactly.
That
bro.
is violent.
Especially the term civil war conditions.
Yeah,
like
what
that
is
is
just say civil war.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it means
That
civil war.
He's calling for violence.
Yeah, he
literally
wants-
calling
exactly.
for violence.
He wants us to kill each other.
We don't want any violence.
No, I
at
don't.
all.
I don't.
You
I
get
won't.
called a domestic terrorist if you say that on the other side.
Oh, 1,000. Yeah, but like I said, he has to get out of freaking jail-free card. He's a freaking Democrat. Anyway, moving on. I don't even want to say his name. I'll let you do it, Connor. But this guy popped up on our feed a couple days ago, and everybody was like, where the hell has he been? And the shit that he was saying was nuts. I'll let you get into it.
Yeah. So in the book Dante's Inferno, the lowest part of the ninth circle of hell is reserved for traitors. Yes. At the very, very bottom of hell, in the mouth of Satan himself, are the three biggest traitors in history.
Yeah.
There's Brutus and Cassius, who killed Julius Caesar, and there's Judas Iscariot, who sold out Christ.
Yeah.
The three of them are dangling in the mouth of Satan as he chews them for all of eternity. That was the worst punishment Dante could come up with.
Yeah.
Apparently this week, we now also have a fourth person who's dangling over the mouth of Satan. Kyle Rittenhouse, ironically enough. This brings us to the story of Kyle Rittenhouse of Cards. What was
By the way, did you make that?
I did.
That is so awesome.
It's a great opening, by the way.
Yeah,
excited to hear it.
What was apparently the next greatest betrayal in all of American politics, on par with Benedict Arnold giving over West Point to the British. This will certainly go down in history as one of the worst things that has ever happened. And it was over after 12 hours.
Yeah.
So for those of you who may remember, Kyle Rittenhouse was a kid, I believe he was about 17 at the time, during a giant riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
BLM.
BLM riot, after the police shot Jacob Blake, a guy who is a known criminal who was attempting to get into a car with children in it, armed with a knife, when the cops shot him, and he didn't even die. So, certainly someone worth rioting over. Kyle went to go help, do some cleanup. There was a riot. He brought the gun with him. He ended up shooting 3 people to dispel the common notion that he's some kind of white supremacist. Everybody he shot was white, and 2 of them were sex offenders.
Yeah, I remember one of them being a sex offender, and everybody was outraged that he shot a sex offender. And I went, wait a minute.
Rob, one of them was not only a sex offender, one of them was a pedophile. The other one was a sex offender, and the other guy.
The third one had some kind of criminal record as well.
So guess what? If you're gonna randomly shoot 3 people, hey, great job.
So
yeah,
Kyle fired into a crowd of people, and 2 out of the 3 people he hit were sex offenders. Shows you what kind of people were there for that.
Yeah,
event.
exactly.
But obviously he was put on trial for murder, even though it was a pretty clear, cut and dry case of self-defense. The first guy went after him with his fists. Second guy went after him with a skateboard. Third guy was pulling a gun.
Yeah,
pretty open and shut.
Yeah.
But in the ensuing process, he sort of became a right-wing folk hero. The kid who was trying to do the right thing, used his Second Amendment rights to defend himself. That led him to meet Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He went with his family. They got a photo op together. He was on Tucker Carlson's show back when Tucker was on Fox. He was a Turning Point USA keynote speaker a couple times. Kyle basically punched his ticket on the right with this incident, and a platform grew around him. And at the time, I remember this was right around when I first started working in media, I said something to the effect of, be careful trying to build a platform around this normal guy. It's not like he was out looking to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
It was a kid who ended up defending himself and then was on trial for murder. That's not someone to, build a huge platform for or put up on a pedestal. This is just a normal guy who ended up in a bad situation. Well, last week we saw the end result of that. Kyle posted this video on his social media.
Okay, so this was okay, go for it.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no takebacks.
No takebacks.
Great, so you're just going to waste your vote.
Yes.
You're going to write somebody in who has no job.
I never understand.
Gonna write in Ron Paul, and here we end up with the ridiculousness of the libertarian mindset on most things of I'm gonna stand by my principled take on voting for a third party candidate. Great, you're gonna make sure Kamala Harris becomes the next president.
Good job.
And then what happens to all our gun rights? But the reaction against Kyle for this was equally as stupid, and that is what I'm here to argue, because immediately the hardcore right wing group, particularly the MAGA base, but just the right in general, turned on him in an instant.
Yeah.
And I have a compilation here of some of the things that happened. I call out Cat Turd specifically.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with
love
him. But he's sort of the quintessential right-wing boomer mentality on social media. He has a huge following. He does, pretty good stuff. But he's very much boomer mindset, boomer pro-Trump.
Okay.
So, he immediately blocked Kyle, said, I've never in my life following politics for 40 years seen a bigger betrayal than Kyle Rittenhouse. And, this other one from Laverne Spicer, I got to look up here to see it.
For it.
How effing dare you turn against President Trump after all he did for you? Trump thought you were a really nice young man, and this whole thing, you can read that up there.
Get off going public again.
I try not to swear on the podcast because my mother watches the show, so I'm not going to read some of those statements. But you can see the reaction was strong. Of this is disloyal, this is treasonous. There were people saying, you know what, I wish Kyle had been found guilty of murder. He deserves to be in jail after this. I can't believe we put our necks out for this guy. And to be fair, the MAGA base right wing really did throw a lot of money at his legal defense fund. They stuck up for him. But I want to discuss the claim that Kyle actually owes Donald Trump personally something. Forgetting about the stupidity of him writing in Ron Paul on the ballot, because that's just dumb. It's a waste.
Yeah, we think Kamala's gonna do your gun rights if she wins.
Exactly.
Yeah, you dumb idiot.
So what does Kyle Rittenhouse owe Donald Trump. I took the liberty of writing out the timeline of events and of the relationship between them. So the shooting was August 25th, 2020. August 26th, Trump addressed the violence in Kenosha, but did not mention Kyle. On the 27th, he said that the case was under investigation and declined to comment. August 31st, he said it seems like he was trying to get away, seems like self-defense. Nothing until October 2020, when Trump indirectly alluded to the incident during a speech. Then in November 2020, during the election, he said, you know, all his stuff about law and order during the ongoing riots. He said that, you know, these violent incidents were, you know, a motivating factor for what was going on. Again, did not mention Kyle. November 19th in 2021, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges, and Trump made a statement saying it was a good verdict.
Good.
In November 22nd of 2021, they met at Mar-a-Lago at Kyle's request, and Trump described him in a follow-up post as, quote, a very nice young man. And that's it. That's the relationship between them.
So what does he own?
So it's not like Trump was out there every day rallying in Kyle's defense. It was, and who would expect him to?
Yeah.
He was president for a time, and then he had other stuff going on. It's not like he's out there just stumping for one individual case. But it's not like these guys were best friends.
Yeah.
And certainly the MAGA supporters helped out Kyle a lot, but what's the obligation there? Does that mean that he then owes Trump his vote unquestionably? He was trying to take a principled stance and say, you know what? I don't think Trump is all that good for our Second Amendment rights. I feel like he's being given bad advice. As a single issue voter, apparently, I'm not gonna support him on that. What do you guys think?
I think.
Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, no, for sure. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think Trump even acknowledging the case and then bringing you to the White House, like, sort of anoints you into this higher level of awareness. Because if he didn't mention anything about it at all, this could have a fraction of the support that he had during that time. And you know, the fact that he got to go there and has a picture with him, he's forever associated with Trump and Tucker. So what he said there wouldn't have been nearly as big of a deal if he didn't have association with them like that. So I think he owes him a lot, because just Trump commenting on the case is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Humberto?
I don't vibe with any of this. I mean, first of all, what you said, like, they blew this kid out of proportion. We're all for the First Amendment. It's fine. But I don't think him saying that will change anyone's vote. But for people like Cat Turd, they're pundits. And I love Cat Turd. I follow him. I think he does very great posting. It's very scary that someone that is supposed to be 100% on our side has, you know, an opinion that is outside of the mainstream opinion. And to be fair, this kid owes more to the Second Amendment than he owes Trump. Like, if it wasn't for the Second Amendment, this kid be dead now.
Oh, for sure.
Like, the Second Amendment to this kid is life and death. Like, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Second Amendment. So his loyalty lies to the thing that saved his life, literally.
Yeah.
You know? So there's I love Trump. I love Trump since day one. I think he's entertaining. He's pushing the envelope forward. I don't vote, but I think, you know,
if you could, you would vote for Trump.
If I could, he'd be high up on my priority list. But at the same time, like, if you think about loyalty, like, the Second Amendment saved his life.
100%.
And there's a few things that I won't talk in public because we're in the middle of a campaign, and I think it's just shitty behavior to be talking crap when the other option is Kamala Harris.
That's the whole.
At the same time, I think it'd be fair for Cat Turd to block everyone that's voting for Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
you know?
he should.
And that will balance things out.
Yeah.
You know, everyone that doesn't vote for Trump, Cat Turd needs to go there, like, you know, and block every single one of them.
I love that.
And
I wish there was an AI thing to do that.
But I think this is getting blown out of proportion. Nobody's gonna change their vote because of Kyle Rittenhouse.
No, not at all. But and I'll say my idea. Rob, what do you think?
We shouldn't bring this election down to one single issue, right? Like, I really don't believe that you look at the 2024 election and go, okay, it's either gun rights or I'm going to vote for Kamala. And I think the other side of that argument should be the same for Democrats. It shouldn't be, I'm pro-life, that's the only reason, or I'm sorry, I'm pro-choice, and that's the only reason why I'm voting blue. There should be other reasons why you cast your vote this year. And some of those reasons should be the economy, illegal immigration, the fentanyl crisis, affordability. So just to try and narrow this down to one single issue disregards the rest of the insanity that's going on in the United States. So what Kyle Rittenhouse is saying is, you know what? Instead of casting my vote for Trump, I'm going to cast my vote and waste my vote for Ron Paul, which in effect actually helps Kamala Harris. So what you're actually saying, Kyle Rittenhouse, is you're okay with open borders? You're okay with inflation being where it's at? You're okay with a government that lies to you? Where the where the fuck is Joe Biden? Where the fuck is the leader of the free world? Does anybody know?
No.
Where has he been? All we've read about over the past 2 or 3 weeks has been Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee. Meanwhile, we're ignoring that for the past 6 weeks prior to that, all we were talking about was invoking the 25th Amendment because Joe Biden clearly had dementia. So do you want to waste your vote and then and allow Kamala Harris and a government that has lied to you for the past 4 years and have hidden Joe Biden's cognitive decline over one issue? I don't. So that's why I'm not voting on one issue this year. I'm voting on a multitude of issues. It doesn't come down to gun rights or women's rights or reproductive rights or the border. For me, it's a combination of all of them. And who has the better stance and the better solution to all of them? Clearly, it's Joe Biden, because Kamala Harris has been in office for 4 years. She has had 4 years to fix this, and she has made this country worse. So do not waste your vote, idiot fuckface Kyle Rittenhouse, and write in Ron Paul. Just like if you're a Democrat, don't vote for Kamala Harris just for women's rights. Look at the rest of the United States. Look at all of the issues that are going on, and then base your vote on that.
And a great point. And I want to answer it, kind of, because I know you want to finish up. But in regard to Joe Biden, we have Israel and Iran. I think they said the ultimatums this week. Yep. They're about to pop off a huge war that we are going to be involved in. Number one.
You probably
number
drafted.
We just Oh no, yeah. I saw a guy that had one of those forms come to his house, Rob.
Yeah.
The draft thing, the signing up for the
selective service.
The selective service thing was random. And then I'm 46, so I'm Gucci. I already served. But then so Israel, Iran about to kick off potentially a real serious world war that we're all gonna have to get involved in, which will turn into a world war. And then we got an attack in Iraq. We got some American troops injured. Not one peep from the sitting president of the United States. So I got to say that. And in regard to Kyle, I mean, listen, anybody right now that's publicly talking, I'm not going to vote for this side. You are openly saying I can care less about the other side because I can care less. When Kamala Harris has literally said, Kyle, that she said when she's in, she's going to take action to grab the guns. She has said it. It's on camera. She wants to come take your guns. Just because Donald Trump has some advisors or whatever, Donald Trump, trust me, if anybody is pro Second Amendment, it's Donald Trump, because those sons of bitches are protecting his ass out there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, single issue voters are literally
the worst.
They're terrorists. They're terrorists.
Worst.
They lack all empathy for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just my thing. Number one, that's what I'm gonna do. And this decision right here is gonna cost him literally an arm and a leg. He's gonna get drafted. Hopefully not. And they're gonna send him to Iraq, or Afghanistan, or Iran, and he's gonna lose an arm and a leg.
Iran, Israel, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. So
well, on the loyalty front, I have to also take issue with the fact that the right proved in this situation, as it does in many situations if you pay close enough attention, that they are willing to act just like the left.
Yeah.
If someone on the left breaks from the party platform or decides they're going to go off in a separate direction, they are mercilessly attacked and bullied and beaten back into line. Mm-hmm. They just did the same. They just did the same thing to Kyle. We have his statement, as he said at the end of his video. No takebacks. There are no takebacks on this.
Let's put this
there was a takeback less than 12 hours later. His statement: over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump team, and I am confident that he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House.
Take back.
Take back. So his single issue stance proved to not be so principled after all. After merciless bullying by right-wing pundits like Cat Turd and a bunch of other people that you can just search Kyle Rittenhouse on Twitter.
They all look like idiots.
And so we proved, just like the left, that the right will bully people back into line when they step out if they challenge what everyone wants to be the central focus. And this goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier of the issue of making public figures out of private citizens whose only claim to fame is being involved in a situation one time, Kyle should not have the audience that he does. He hasn't done much significant since then other than be the poster boy for Second Amendment rights. This other photo, a few months before the Kenosha shooting, do you remember Mark and Patricia McCloskey?
Yes. Those two are
this
bad.
photo, this photo went viral because they were a couple in St. Louis.
Gangster.
A large BLM mob tore down the gates of their gated community, was marching towards the mayor's house. A couple people were allegedly threatening them in their front yard. They went in and grabbed guns to defend themselves.
Gangsters.
They didn't shoot anybody, but they were pointing them at them. And you can tell from the forum, they're not great. Like Patricia,
she looks like a horrible James Bond.
Yeah. The recoil is going to send that pistol directly into her face, and Mark doesn't have his rifle shouldered properly. But whatever, no one's expecting someone who's trying to defend their home to be a high-speed tactical operator if they're under pressure. But again, they got this huge platform out of nowhere. Of all the media attention was on them. Mark McCloskey ran for Congress at one point. I believe he's still politically involved. But that was the only thing they did that made them have a national stage. They were just normal people trying to defend themselves. A whole thing was built up around them. They've been controversial ever since.
It sounds just like David Hogg.
Yeah.
A guy that had one instance, and it was a traumatic one.
Yeah.
Like 17 of your fellow students were shot and killed. That's awful. He wasn't. And yet somehow he became this anti-gun guy, and he's been It's like the opposite of Kyle Rittenhouse. A one-situation scenario gets catapulted to the spotlight, and now every word that he says is gospel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But also every word that he says sucks.
Yeah.
Like they're not. These aren't people who are necessarily qualified to be running a movement. Of course, having everyday average people involved in politics is important. That's how we make change. Having everyday people take up the cause to get involved in government and run for Congress, run for president, whatever. Like that's kind of the founding vision of what the country was meant to be. But at the same time, you have to understand that when you take a normal person and put them out there like that, eventually you're going to be disappointed because that's how a normal person would react in that situation.
Yep.
So parents will disappoint them.
Well, Rob, say true because we have to move on to the next one. If you want to talk about, and I'll let you finish, Connor, but we have to wrap it up tight. You mentioned David Hogg.
Are you going to read his tweet that he put out earlier?
Yesterday, he put out a tweet, and you guys could look it up yourselves. This was yesterday. This was 19 hours ago. It's Kamala and that weirdo Waltz on stage. You want to talk about weird? They're up there, and he writes, "I'm not crying right now. You are." And I write, "No, David, you're literally the only person crying because you're a beta. Go eat a steak and stop being such a pussy." And I had 30,000 replies. So,
well, I mean, there you go. That pretty much concludes it.
Okay.
David Hogg shouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
So there are no winners in this scenario.
Nah.
When normal people try to get involved in politics and it doesn't go well, we all lose. When the right bullies people who step out of line to force them to fall in line behind Donald Trump, we lose.
Yep.
When the left promotes people like David Hogg who stand on the corpses of 17 of their classmates to build a platform for themselves and get into Harvard, despite having zero qualifications for it other than having a dad in the FBI, everyone loses. So I say all that to say, like, the betrayal, it's not nearly what it was made out to be, and everything sucks.
I agree. And the last thing, Kyle won. How much money did he win?
I have no idea. Did he win the case with
He won like a couple $100 million, didn't he?
That might still be pending. I'm not sure.
All right, guys, we're going to be moving on. Next story, Connor, great story. Brandon, X is suing advertising company. Did we spell suing right? Is that right? I'm retarded. I'm stupid. All right, Brandon. Dude, guess what? I'm the idiot, okay? Because I'm like, suing. I thought, because no, X suing, I thought it was like a
It does look weird next to
a
X.
thick X suing advertising monopoly. Oh, yeah. All right, so Brandon, talk to us. So X is suing an advertising company, GARM.
Yes. So Elon Musk said this week, "We tried peace for 2 years. Now it's time for war."
Yes.
So love this. If you're wondering why we've been hearing all this stuff about X losing money since Elon took over, it's because this organization called GARM, G-A-R-M, it represents 90% of all global ad spending, and the antitrust filed by X accuses the Global Alliance of Responsible Media, that's what GARM stands for, of colluding to convince brands to limit or to remove their advertising from X.
What the hell?
So since between November 2022 and December 2022, when he first took it over, at least 18 brands associated with the coalition stopped advertising on Twitter.
Wow.
And then dozens more of the coalition members cut back spending through 2023. So think about that. Like ad revenue, that's what we get on YouTube. That's what we get.
That's how you make. That's how you make your living.
Yeah, that's where money comes from on social media.
Yes.
So like as somebody who that'd be like buying a company and then the institution that's responsible for allowing payments to process that is the only way you get paid to cut off 90% from that. That's what happened.
Which happens all the time, by the way. The payment processing platforms deplatform people all
If
the
you
time.
get canceled, look at Andrew Tate. He was canceled. They took him off PayPal, and it's like, bro, what the hell's wrong?
Like revenue source. Like if you go into an industry, you have one revenue source that makes up all the revenue, and then this one institution represents all the companies in that revenue source. And they say, no, we're not doing X anymore. Too risky.
How'd they find? But so, man, did they just find this out about GARM?
It's been coming out because of a House investigation. So, like Shapiro was there, and the Republican Judicial Committee started investigating into it. So it's Rumble and X that have been targeted by this. And
wow,
Twitter revenue's down 22% since 2022.
Damn.
And yeah, so this thing called GARM, it was started in 2019, miraculously. The year before a mass censorship campaign.
Weird.
And it's controlled by this thing called the World Federation of Advertisers, WAF, which...
Anything that's close to WEF, world, if the word world is in your freaking title, I don't trust you.
Glad you said that, because the WF has a page where it shows, they have that they're one of their partners, the GARM institution. So,
weird.
They're attached with each other.
Oh, weird.
These are some of the companies that are, it's all the big ones, like McDonald's, all the Fortune 500
damn,
companies.
BP?
Yep.
Everybody's on there. Can you go to the next one? Or was it just this one?
No, there's
McDonald's,
MasterCard.
McDonald's, MasterCard,
Nike.
Hewlett-Packard.
Yeah. Damn, that's a lot, bro.
Yeah, 90% of all companies that could give you money for advertising are in this GARM thing, because they make it inconvenient for you to advertise if you're not in, because it's like a stamp of approval, like you're safe to work with if you're in GARM. But GARM seems like it's telling people not to advertise on X. So I started looking into who kind of calls the shots for this thing called GARM, and that it's like a weird organization where they take a lot of their counsel from NGOs, and we know NGOs kind of run the world. So the NGOs that they consult with are Consumers International, Amnesty International, and the Anti-Defamation League.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Anti-defamation. What is that?
I know a thing or two about those guys.
Yeah, jump right in.
So ADL's in a nutshell.
The Anti-Defamation League. It exists ostensibly to identify, anti-Semitism, hate speech, that kind of stuff. If you dig into why they exist, it's actually to defend the legacy of a guy who was so obviously guilty of rape and murder that his lawyers couldn't pin it on two black guys in the Deep South in the 40s.
Who was this?
Leo Frank.
Wow.
Look into the life and legacy of Leo Frank, and you will see that the ADL exists just to protect his legacy.
Jeez.
And now also apparently boycott X.
And the Amnesty International doesn't get enough heat. They're the
dirty.
worst. They're the worst pile of leftist
crap
shit.
Good.
They exist just to get murderers out of prison.
Every uprising, like fair uprising in South America, they will cover it up. Every time a leftist is hurt, this is a war crime. Every time something happens to someone that leans conservative, they will completely ignore it. Like they burnt down the whole Chile. They burned it down in 2019. They didn't say anything until the criminals got arrested. Then it was a world crisis. They're the worst. All these people, and sorry if I go long,
Go
for it.
but I worked in the advertising industry for 10 years. Like that, I am actually glad that they have an organization to make it public, because they've been doing this like for years. They've been doing this since I started. It's been, 15 years since I started in the advertising world. If it's not done, through an organization, they will do it in the back room. Mm-hmm. They will change ads for things that they don't like. They will drop ads for things that don't align with the message. Like all the heads of every single advertising conglomerate, like every single big agency, they're a bunch of leftists, all of them. Like everyone that works on accounts, everyone that works on management, like they're the biggest DEI, net zero, like everything that we don't like.
It's them.
That's what they do. Now they're doing it openly, but they've been doing it for 20, 30 years, And this is actually surprising.
Yeah.
Which part, that they're calling it out, or that it's this transparent?
That is this transparent, because I got out of the industry because I couldn't stand it anymore. Because I thought that I was being dishonest, and I was doing. I was doing.
You have a soul. You have a soul and a conscience.
Not even that. Just business decisions.
No, I don't have a soul.
I'm talking about business decisions. Like every time I had to put an extra person of color, I had to do a message or whatever. Like I felt I was being dishonest with people that were paying my salary.
Yeah.
Like for example, I work for Fiat, and they decided to do adopt a dog, thing for dog adoptions. I was like, how does this have anything to do with selling cars? Like, how many cars are we gonna sell here? Like, if the people for Fiat come to me, I'm gonna sell them more cars.
Yeah.
I won't push an agenda on them.
Yeah.
And that was the last straw that got me out of it. Thanks,
tough.
Fiat.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, jerks.
Let me play this thing from Linda.
So who's this?
Linda Yaccarino, the CEO for Twitter.
This is the CEO of Twitter. And what is she going to say?
So she's just calling the stuff out and saying what they're going to do.
Oh, from Garm? Okay, play it.
I was shocked by the evidence uncovered by the House Judiciary Committee that a group of companies organized a systematic illegal boycott against X. It is just wrong, and that is why we are taking action. Today, we filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, 4 of its key members, and the World Federation of Advertisers. These organizations targeted our company and you, our users.
Ooh. Dude, she's Italian. Is she Italian?
I think so.
She's
Yaccarino.
tough, bro. I like her.
I hope we could trust her. She's from the WEF. Remember, everybody's freaking out about that. But
I was going to say that because when they named her, this was like a year ago.
Yeah.
I looked at her background. I was like, oh, God, this is going to be bad. This is going to be real bad because I didn't trust her. And she's been doing good things. She's been keeping brave. She's been keeping people accountable.
Did she turn good? Maybe is that?
Dude, I don't know.
Well, remember, X also went after Media Matters for America.
They did.
Because the douchebags over at Media Matters basically only have one job, and that's to take clips out of context from conservative media and make them look bad to try to get them canceled. Yeah. But what they found they were doing on X was they were responsible for the advertiser boycott in the first place, because they showed a bunch of brands, look, we found ads for your company right above content praising Hitler. And then turns out the way they did that was by creating a bunch of dummy accounts and then exclusively following big brands and pro-Hitler accounts so that you would only see on your timeline those two things. Weird. But that got a bunch of subscribers to leave X, which is sort of where this whole problem came from. So they went after Media Matters. Now they're going after Garm for doing this. There's a very clear campaign of, is X now the free speech platform? Well, we're going to make sure you never make another dollar.
Yep, because if you think about it, where else right now, and I love getting into these arguments with leftist Democrats, like when you're like, by the way, it used to be this, I used to send them a clip on YouTube, like, oh, that's your news source? And I'm like, yeah, you dumbass. Like, where are you going? By the way, I'm telling you right now, Rob, the PSYOP, and I've said it, is so amazing what they did to these soft-brained, mushy-head people. It's like, my other friend's like, wait a minute, you get your news from X? I go, yeah, because it's raw. You can, guess what? There's racism, there's porn. If you focus and get your algorithm to where I just want news, I want honest, I want to see everything for myself, because journalism is dead. Okay, journalism, guys, out the window. It's finito. It's up to you to go out there and search for the information, you know what I'm saying? Filter it, figure it out, fact check, go to, find out your resources and do it on your own. Fact check your own shit, okay? Because if you go home and you just turn on CNN and that's your news, you're screwed. That's it. So go ahead, Brandon.
You know what the beautiful thing about that is you're mentioning? So first of all, I think X is growing at a faster pace than YouTube. Once they get this thing squared away with how to monetize, it'll be bigger than YouTube in 5-10 years, I think.
I think so too.
It's so much faster. But second, the market's sort of solving for making sure they know who's reliable and who's not on X. So if you see a crazy headline from an account you don't recognize, you don't take it at face value, right? But if you see it from like Charlie Kirk or from what's his name, Benny Johnson, you know
it's credible.
Those people care about their reputation because they have a lot of followers and they've built trust. So you know who to trust and who not to.
Yeah, that's very
jump
true. I
into.
was following this guy. He killed Carter.
Who?
A guy that I follow on Twitter. He killed Carter.
Who's Carter?
President Carter.
Oh, he reported that. There's a great tweet from Elon yesterday at 7:26 a.m. Responding to Konstantin Kisin. And to your point about Twitter being a news source, a guy connected with me and he wanted to know where do we get our news for PBD podcast. And I told him I pull the news from both sources. For every Fox News that I go to an NBC. For every Breitbart, I go to CNN. But I get a majority of stories and leads from X. And the reason why, and to your point, Elon's tweet yesterday, this platform provides a clear and immediate way to refute anything false in the replies and with community notes. The same is not true for legacy media who lie relentlessly, but there is no way to counter their propaganda. So when people go, well, why are you using X to get your news? Well, it's really the only news source that gets fact-checked. So that's kind of why I use it, because it's legitimately the only fact-checked news source that you can rely on, because all the other ones don't have community notes. They'll issue a retraction months later when
that you'll never read. Yeah, who's reading the retraction?
But in this one, you're getting real-time fact-checked. Even Elon has gotten fact-checked by community notes. All right, I was wrong on that one. So it happens.
Yeah, big time.
It's a great product that he's turned it into.
Oh, dude, I love it. Dude, the guys are listen. And people are like, he's not building the rocket ship. Shut up.
my
Just
God.
shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. I drool at these moments. Like I taste it like it's chocolate. When the left, you remember when the left was like, "Oh, you don't like them censoring and the FBI at Twitter? Then buy your own social media." Well, guess what? One of ours bought it, bitch. One of ours bought yours, and do they hate it that we get to see the truth? But anyway, all right, Brandon, great story. We're gonna be moving on. Rob. Josh Shapiro, who was supposed to be the vice president, everybody thought it was going to be him. I heard something about a murder with a girl that worked for him.
Yeah, well, not worked for him, but there's a connection. But let me ask you guys, anybody here forensic pathologist? Has anybody ever worked as a coroner?
But my favorite show is and was and is The First 48, and I know what they do.
I watched a lot of Law and Order reruns.
Yeah, but that's really
that
the
close
extent.
enough?
That's the extent, but I've watched at least 7 seasons, so I think that qualifies me to know who did it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. A woman is found dead. She has 20 stab wounds to her, 10 of which are in the back of her body and in the back of her head. As you guys with zero coroner or medical forensic experience other than watching television, what would your results be? Would you rule that as a homicide, or would you look at that and say that's a suicide?
I'd flag it as highly suspicious at the very least.
Yeah,
It's as homicide as it gets.
By the way,
it's a suicide that she was trying to cover up.
Oh, she's trying to cover up her own suicide.
Covering.
Now, maybe she was holding a bunch of knives and rolled down a hill, and that's how they all.
Well, she's in an apartment, so that's impossible.
if she was working for a Republican, it's murder. If she's a Democrat, it's suicide.
Okay, well, I don't know if she was a Republican or Democrat because she's dead and she died 12 years ago. But this is a weird story. So let's dive into it. If you guys remember last week, and that why I asked that question will come into play in a little bit. But last week, this was tweeted out. This is a Mediaite story. If we could pull up the first link, Mediaite, and they're reporting. No, that's not the right one, but it's okay. Video posted by Philadelphia mayor touting Shapiro as VP. There it is. Laughing my ass off. Did the mayor leak it? So do you guys remember last Friday, the mayor of Philadelphia, her name is Sherelle Parker. She posted a tweet with a video saying that she was proud to be supporting Harris for president and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro for vice president. Here's a tweet, and if you look at the bottom, it's got 7.5 million views.
Wow.
Now, the reports were that the mayor of Philadelphia accidentally leaked the story that Josh Shapiro was Kamala Harris's VP pick. Here is the video, if we want to play this real quick. This video was tweeted out again last Friday, 5 days before Kamala Harris makes her VP announcement, and all indications after this tweet comes out is that Josh Shapiro is getting the nod, and he will be the VP pick.
Okay, go ahead.
Philadelphia, we got work to do. We're ready to rumble, y'all!
I'm Mayor Sherelle Parker, here with leaders from across our region. Kamala Harris is on the road to victory.
And the road goes through Pennsylvania.
And in Pennsylvania, we're united behind her. The woman that's tough and can lead.
Are we ready to fight for it?
She is the right person at the right time for this job.
It's gonna do right by labor. It's gonna do right by working people.
And I can't think of a better partner than our Governor Josh Shapiro.
Partner, remember that.
His policies have not only supported the working class, but have set standards for progressive leadership that benefits all citizens.
Philadelphia building trades.
IBW for Kamala Harris.
Montgomery County. Bucks.
County.
Delco. Chester.
Northeast, South Philly, North Philly for Kamala Harris.
We're getting behind Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris for president. And Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro for vice president.
Wow.
I think they got the last 12 white
and
people left in
Kamala
Philly.
Harris know
for
you
sad.
stand with her. Together, we can do this. We are one city.
Well, so this came out.
This came out Friday, and it's not like just some council person tweeted this out. This is the mayor of Philadelphia, the biggest city in Pennsylvania, tweeting out that Josh Shapiro is getting the nod. Wow. Now, the reports come out. Philly Magazine political writer Ernest Owens tweeted that his sources told him a staffer connected to Mayor Sherrell Parker's team accidentally posted the video early and that it wasn't actually scheduled to go out until Monday. We work in a production company. We put together videos. Guys, would that accidentally ever get produced? Imagine the amount of hours that it takes for the editors to go and put something like that together. We see it in the editing bay here. There's no way that you accidentally produce a video like that and then go ahead and leak it by accident.
No.
So that comes out on Monday. Let's fast forward to 8/5. This article comes out from the New York Post, and this is where the mysterious death
up, please.
of they say Aaron Greenberg, but her name is actually Ellen Greenberg. Ellen Greenberg was killed or committed suicide, depending on which variation you want to believe. She died in 2011, 20 stab wounds and an apparent suicide, but her parents have won the right to challenge the ruling and change it from suicide to a homicide. The family of Ellen Greenberg has fought against the city of Philadelphia for more than a decade to overturn the city's ruling of the death of the teacher. Her body was found inside of her apartment. The apartment was locked. She had 10 stab wounds to the back of her head and neck. She died during a blizzard on January 26th of 2011. Here are some of the photos.
Dude, are you
That's
freaking
insane.
Time out. They really ruled that a suicide. You're dead serious.
Yes. While investigating Ellen's death in 2011, Philadelphia police initially suspected that the 27-year-old teacher committed suicide, noting the lack of forced entry, defensive wounds, or DNA on her body that wasn't there. Medical examiner Marlon Osborne determined the death to be a homicide, but later reversed course and amended the ruling to suicide more than a month later. So originally look how many stab wounds this woman had.
Have you ever seen somebody kill themselves, Rob, and stab?
I mean, you'd have to have an incredible pain tolerance to do that.
Oh,
and
my God.
That you would have to take some type of barbiturates or alcohol or some type of sedative to make your body not feel pain in order for you to be able to continue. And I don't even know how you stab yourself.
No,
in the
Rob,
back
that
of the
angle,
neck
by the
and
way,
head.
that angle is coming straight in. There's no way, unless she perfectly held it and was coming. Dude, that's such horse shit.
Now, here's the thing. Even judges in the city of Philadelphia, and this is from the New York Post article that came out on the 5th, judges have acknowledged the, and I quote, deeply flawed investigation of Greenberg by the Philadelphia police, the DA, and the medical examiner's office. So again, this comes out on the 5th. That's Monday. So in between Friday, where the news gets leaked that Josh Shapiro is going to be the VP pick, and Tuesday's announcement, which according to insiders, Kamala Harris didn't actually make until Tuesday morning. Reports were, Connor, can you attest to this? I read online that reports were going into Monday night, Kamala had not made her decision and she needed the night to sleep on it before making the announcement on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes, there were allegedly phone calls that took place between her and Tim Walz and then her and Josh Shapiro. I believe it was also the New York Post that reported she ultimately liked Walz's attitude better, and there seemed to be some kind of issue that Shapiro took where he seemed less confident she was going to win. And that question seems to have been what might have actually been the deciding factor.
I think it was this. I think it was Josh Shapiro's involvement in the cover-up of the murder of Ellen Greenberg, and here's why. So, this article comes out from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Again, remember timeline. Friday, they announced Josh Shapiro accidentally going to be the VP. Monday, this article comes out from the New York Post where Ellen Greenberg's family have reversed a Supreme Court ruling in the state of Philadelphia where they're going to reopen the case and look and see if it's homicide rather than suicide. This article comes out Tuesday morning before Kamala makes the announcement. Governor Josh Shapiro and the Ellen Greenberg case explained. And in this article, it details how Josh Shapiro was actually the district attorney. He was the attorney general's office with the state of Pennsylvania in 2018. When that office was tasked with reviewing the case, he stood by the city's 2011 ruling of suicide and then continued to do so through 2022. So they actually go back and look at this case, and Josh Shapiro in 2019 says, no, it's a suicide. Why does Josh Shapiro rule it a suicide? Could it be that perhaps Ellen Greenberg's fiance, and his name is Samuel Goldberg, has ties to Josh Shapiro, the attorney general, who in 2019 ruled that the case was suicide?
And by the way, not to tell you, Rob, every single person you said was Jewish.
Yep.
Shapiro,
Goldberg,
Greenberg, a lot of Bergs and a lot of Steens.
Oh, we're going to get into the Schwartzman's involvement.
Okay,
We're not.
Is this?
It even involves the Philadelphia swanky Mine Line community, which real estate agents call the city's crown jewel.
So I was just,
jewel.
Yeah, I was.
What this is and what this looks like, there's a great YouTuber, and I want to give him shout out because I found this guy's videos when I started reading about this. This guy has been doing videos about this cover-up since 2019. Oh, wow. So this is way before Josh Shapiro became common knowledge across the United States as a possible VP candidate. This guy, Gavin Fish, props to you, Gavin. Go to his website. There's like a tip jar. I'm trying to get him on the show because I think this is fascinating. Yep. Gavin does a deep dive, and Gavin writes this article that came out actually in July before any of this became public. The date on this is July 28th, and it's an opinion article. Anti-Semites shouldn't stop Josh Shapiro from getting the Veep nod, but a murder cover-up should.
Wow.
I want to dig into the death of Ellen Greenberg and what happened that night, as well as the possible involvement by her live-in fiance, Samuel Goldberg, who has ties to Josh Shapiro. Here's how the ties break down. Sam Goldberg calls 911 January 26th of 2011 at 6:31 p.m. Remember that time. Yep. 6:31, Goldberg calls the police to report that Ellen was laying on the floor with blood everywhere. According to Goldberg, he had left their 6th floor apartment 45 minutes earlier to work out in the gym on the 1st floor. So he goes down and starts working out at 45 minutes before. That takes you to what? 5:46 p.m.
5:46.
When he comes back, I mean, how can you get a workout in 45 minutes? You got to take the 6th floor down to the 1st floor to go to the gym.
Unless he's doing like a quick rep.
So you're getting in there real quick. And okay, fine. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. He comes back upstairs and tells investigators the door to their apartment was locked from the inside with a hotel swinging door lock. You know those ones that swing back and forth? They're the metal ones like that. So nobody could have broken into the apartment. He says he couldn't reach Ellen by phone, text, or email, or by shouting through the cracked door, so he broke through it and found Ellen unresponsive on the floor of the kitchen. Now, Connor, you're married. Humberto, you're married. You two eligible bachelors, very eligible and very
We have a lot of sex.
Yeah, sure. Yep. You come home and you find the women that you're courting or having sex with, or your wives, dead on the floor from 20 stab wounds. Who's the first person that you call?
911.
911.
911.
911.
Yeah.
911. Okay, suspicious.
Well, yeah. Humberto's like, I got a guy. I got a guy.
Ray Donovan. Okay, so remember, he goes down for the workout at
5:46.
He calls 911 at 6:31, but at 6:14 p.m., he actually makes his first call. He doesn't call 911. Who does he call? He calls his cousin, Cayman Schwartzman, and his uncle, James Schwartzman, who are two prominent lawyers in the city of Philadelphia. 6:26, James Schwartzman calls. The first call lasts 5 minutes, 6:14 to 6:19. So again, remember that 45-minute workout? That 45-minute workout goes from 5:46 to 6:31 when he found the body to actually 15 minutes earlier. So you're talking about a workout of 5:46 to 6:14. So you're getting a workout in
and taking the elevator and everything. Probably not.
So would you go for a quick sprint on the treadmill while you're
sus.
Well, so we're talking about a time window of 20-25 minutes that you're gone from the apartment where your fiance gets stabbed 10 times in the front and 10 times in the back.
I don't believe
But okay, he calls Cayman Schwartzman at 6:14 p.m. That call lasts 5 minutes. Then over the next 7 minutes, Sam Goldberg, Ellen Greenberg's fiance, misses several calls from his uncle, James Schwartzman, who is Cayman Schwartzman's father, who was a prominent judge in the city of Philadelphia. At 6:26, James Schwartzman tries calling again, and Sam picks up the phone. However, we don't know how long this phone call lasts. Cayman and Schwartzman actually go to the apartment building before first responders get there.
Wow.
They actually so they go there maybe for support for Sam Goldberg, their friend, whatever. The next day, they return to the apartment, and they take from the apartment Ellen's laptop, her work laptop, another laptop, and her cell phone from the crime scene, and then return it to Philadelphia police 2 days later.
Weird.
In what scenario are police investigating the body of a woman, her live-in fiancé who's only been missing for 24 minutes, to go downstairs and go do gymming of whatever sorts he's doing?
Yeah.
You allow that man's cousin and that man's uncle to come into the apartment and take her possessions. But here's where the ties go back to Josh Shapiro. Judge Schwartzman, the father, James Schwartzman, one of the people that the suspect, now in my opinion suspect, Scott, or what is his name again? Steve Greenberg. I'm sorry, I'm butchered. Sam Goldberg. Sam Goldberg. Sorry, I'm mixing up all of the ethnicities in this one. Shapiro. Okay, Josh Shapiro ends up this investigative researcher, again, Gavin Fish. Go check him out. He ends up uncovering ties between Josh Shapiro and Judge James Schwartzman's daughter, Kimberly Schwartzman Kimmel. The two of them went to a private school together growing up and had other connections through both their children's school activities. In fact, this investigative journalist has found financial ties between this family, the Schwartzmans, who are related to Sam Goldman, the fiance of this dead girl, and has found that there have been political donations that have been made from the Kimmels to Shapiro's political campaigns in the past. So there's money going from the Schwartzman family to Shapiro's campaign. Shapiro is the district attorney of Pennsylvania and opens up the case, looks at it in 2019, and rules that case was in fact a suicide, but he fails to mention that the person who committed suicide, that woman, Ellen Greenberg's fiance, Sam Goldberg, had ties to James and Carmen Schwartzman through their sister/daughter, this woman, Kimberly Schwartzman Kimmel. This all looks suspect.
Wow. Well, dude, first of all, kudos to you. You just were spitting just a smorgasbord of Jewish buffet names. I don't know how the hell you remembered Schwartzman, Shapiro, Goldberg, Steen and Rothman. Dude, I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
Number one. And number two, Rob, so what did she know or what did she have? Do you think she had stuff on her that incriminated her? Somebody wanted to get rid of her for something.
Well, it could be just simply a cheating. Like, listen, maybe Ellen, and I don't want to besmirch her name. I don't know what happened, right? But maybe there was some type of infidelity on one person's part. Somebody gets angry and finds that they act out, they murder someone, and then they need help covering up the crime. The fact that this guy called his uncle and his cousin 17 minutes before he calls 911 to me is very suspect. Then the fact that the police allow the cousin and the uncle to take laptops the guy's got to be I would imagine if any of us were in this situation, we would be the prime suspect in the murder of our fiance.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would the police allow the prime suspect's family to retrieve electronic devices from the murdered woman's apartment? All of it just seems so suspicious.
Because if you know them and there's a relationship, you want to look out for the person. And great point that you're making. I know people that were hanging out and partying. They were poisoned with fentanyl, and 3 people are dying or dead, and the person calls the drug dealer, their people, to come and clean up everything so that person that didn't die not look bad. That is the most suspect shit you could do. 911 is the first thing. And dude, if you hurt your ankle and you fell, 911. I'm not calling your family or judges or lawyers that I know. That's big time sus. And I think that played a big part in him not, because think about it, if you expose that, if that is out, they would have been going after this guy for Trump would have been
the fact that the fact that it was accidentally leaked on Friday that he was going to be the VP nominee, and then this story comes out Monday, and then Kamala still hasn't made her mind up by Monday night, and then makes a decision on Tuesday, and then the news starts reporting on it. That to me just goes, well, they knew. They knew that there's something shady here, and they didn't want this dragging down Kamala's campaign. So in my opinion, I think she would have picked Josh Shapiro had the New York Post not reported on this story and reported on the family getting the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania to overturn their rulings and reopen the case. I think this is bad news for Josh Shapiro, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 6, 8, 12 months we start to see that this guy had more involvement in this case. It gets overruled, and it was not a suicide. It was a homicide. And then it opens up, well, what did you know? And now all of a sudden you have the governor of a state involved in the cover-up of a murder of a 27-year-old female teacher in the city.
Because hands down, just from the photos that you showed from the autopsy, there was absolutely zero chance that girl committed suicide. I'm going to say that again. From the photos that we saw, no way she straight up stabbed herself because those angles were going like this. How did she do? How meticulously of a stabbing do you have to do?
And you know the force that you need to stab a skull.
In your skull, Humberto. You saw the mark.
And here's another important fact. According to most suicide statistics and the way it's done, women don't tend to kill themselves like that. Women try to avoid big, messy, painful things. Men shoot themselves. Men jump off buildings. Men jump off bridges. Women, it tends to be take pills, slit wrist in the bathtub kind of thing. Things that don't cause a gigantic mess and make it look horrific. So the odds of a woman stabbing herself to death, even in a legitimate suicide, are almost zero.
Yeah, and that's a crime of passion too. That's a crime where somebody did something to you, you're pissed off at them and overly compensated.
Yeah, that's pissed off. But
that looks like cheating.
That's completely sus. And that guy has a lot of questions, bro. So if you're out there, people that are investigating this, please dig into this freaking. I don't
drop us a line. We'll promote.
Oh yeah, please let us know because guess what?
Rob, what was that guy's name again?
Gavin Fish. Go watch his videos because he has a whole tutorial on when he started breaking this down 3, 4, 5 years ago to now, and it's really interesting to watch the progression. So Gavin Fish on YouTube, go and look him up, and gavinfish.com I think is his website.
Well, dude, great freaking story, guys. All of you great stories. Nat, I love you. Dante, I love you to death. He's back there. I have to give him a treat. Jake, Malik, everybody, guys, and everybody at home, if you haven't subscribed already, please click on the subscribe. I think 60% of you guys, and we love the support. We love that you guys are watching, but please subscribe. We want to make this channel grow. We will be back on Friday at 6 p.m. It's going to be episode 70, right?
70.
We're getting up there. Guys, I love you all. Take care of each other, and we'll see you soon. Peace and love.
Peace.